So, all right, guys, we got to get this one right. On three, we're going to say, welcome back to Extraordinary Thoughts for on their mind. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to our mind.
And we back.
That'll work right there.
Yeah.
And we back. And we
Yeah.
back. And we back. And we
We did
back.
our best.
And we
Y'all did y'all best. And that's all that matters.
and we
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcast with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of Extraordinary Thoughts for Ordinary Mind. You know, this season, I feel like it's going to be a season of reflection. And the reason why I say a season of reflection is because I just feel like sometimes I don't stop. No, I'm lying. I tend to think a lot. All right, I tend to think a lot. But, and as I say, a season of reflection, I'm trying to tell myself don't dwell too much on it. And I just really just want to just cut straight to the chase. Hi, my name is Demetrius Thigpen, and I'm an overthinker. And I don't know who else suffers from this situation, but I overthink. And I try to sit back and try to tell myself that, I'm a Sagittarius. I think all the time. That's my job. I'm a thinker. But what it feels like for me is like it's a blanket. It's like a blanket. And in the blanket, I can't hear things. In the blanket, I can't focus. In the blanket, it's just like everything is dulled. And it's just like this whole like chaotic thing going on in my mind. Like 8,000 thoughts are just constantly running through me. Like I always joke about it, but if you could see me, you would think that steam was coming out of my head as fast as my gears are turning sometimes. And I don't know where the hell it came from. You feel me? Like, I don't know where the hell it came from. But I've always been an overthinker. And I was wondering how I was going to come into this episode, like how I was going to segue into just saying like I was an overthinker, but trying to figure out a segue was actually going to cause me to overthink. But I remember my first speaking gig. And it was at California State San Marcos. And we know the story. I got the call. I go up there and I'm sitting on there with all these prestige gentlemen. I'm talking about master's degrees, doctors, these people, CEOs. One of them played in the NFL, X, Y, and Z, you name it. Then you look all the way down to the corner and you see me with a turtleneck and a blazer. And just a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. I ain't even got a degree. And although I seemed like I was contained, the reality was inside, I was flustered. The reality is that I was psyching myself out. The reality is that although no one said it to me, I had already said I didn't belong here. I had called myself an imposter. I had said, look, why are you around all of these gentlemen? Look at what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. Look what happens when you lie on the resume and now you got the job. And the reality is that as soon as I got on the stage and opened my mouth, everybody gravitated towards me. I try to go back and, I say this is a season of reflection because I'm trying to reflect on what causes my ailment. When I did the live show in LA, although I was nervous, I got up on that stage and I performed. But the thing is that once again, if you would have peeled the layers back, like if you could have just saw what was going on inside of my head, I was looking at everybody else saying like, damn, they got fucking co-hosts. Oh man, they actually got music. I just got my kids. Man, I don't belong here. I'm an overthinker. And it may sound like I'm psyching myself out, but that's a lot of times that's what overthinkers do. We tend to play back the worst case scenario over and over and over. And for me, this might, and this is one thing I really want to get out the way before we even start, is that I'm not here to diagnose you. I am not going to diagnose you. This episode is not meant to diagnose you. If you feel like you suffer from depression, anxiety, any of those things, overthinking, X, Y, and Z, go see somebody. Go seek somebody. This is just me telling you my truth. But the life of an overthinker, man, oh my God. For me, what it feels like is that I sent over a text message, but I had before I even wrote the text message, I actually erased that text message because that text message sounded like it was too forced. So let me erase that one real quick. Let me go ahead and put another text message in. Oh man, that text message sounds a little bit too meek. Let me go ahead and erase that text message. Hey, matter of fact, let me just write this. Oh no, that doesn't sound like. For me, I spent 5 minutes trying to create a text message that only had 2 words in it. For me, it feels like I want to just say one word to you, but before I can even say that word to you, I've already rehearsed this entire conversation in the hallway because I feel like you're not really feeling me. For me, you told me that you needed something, but because of how you said it, I feel like there's more to it. Because of how you said it, I feel like there's something about me that I did something wrong. Because of how you said it, I feel like I need to go ahead and start planning for something else. For me, it feels like as if my anxiety gets the best of me, and next thing you know, I'm stuck in this overthinking loop. And I'm constantly replaying actions. For me, it feels like as if thoughts of you not being here, you not supposed to be here, constantly keep playing. Thoughts of me feeling like as if I'm not good enough, keep playing. And if you're an overthinker, you probably know this just as good as I do, is that the moment that you mess up on one thing, it doesn't disperse. It doesn't just disappear. It becomes like this little weight on you. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, that mess up becomes another one. And then another one. Next thing you know, you carrying fucking 20 pounds of fucking failure on your back when you should have let it go earlier. Fuck. For me, it feels like when I meet new people that already know me, I've already created this idea of what they think about me based off of what I would think about people. See, the problem is that I tend to not only overthink, but I also overproject as well. And it took me a long time to realize that, and I fucking hate it. Like, I come across a group of people, this isn't an episode where I'm bashing myself. I'm really just telling you my truth. And it definitely started to come more into it the more I started to put myself out there on social media. People will come up to me and they'll be like, oh my God, it's Meech, or hey, it's Meech Speaks. Hey man, I love your stuff, blah, blah, like you're real motivational, you're real inspirational. I love listening to your episodes. As they're telling me that, I'm thinking, you're a piece of shit. You're a fraud. Why is he coming up to you telling you this stuff? Okay, say something cool, but don't say nothing too don't get too carried away. For me, when I meet other people, I feel like everybody, I'm trying to figure out your ulterior motive. When you deep down, you probably just want to say something to me. Fuck, I'm an overthinker. For me, it feels like I want to ask for help. But the thing is that as soon as I ask for help, I feel like the moment that I ask for help is that I'm admitting that I'm incompetent at something. Let me rephrase that. It's not that I feel like I'm incompetent. I feel like I just don't know what I'm doing. Let me rephrase that, because it feels like not even that I know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm not even supposed to be here. And although I know that you will probably help me, I don't want to seem like a burden. Fuck, I'm an overthinker. Damn, I'm doing it again. For me, it feels like even when I get in the booth and I start to get this episode together, I'm worried because somebody is probably going to hear this episode and misconstrue my words. Next thing you know, I find myself in a situation that I have to constantly explain. But the thing is, I was just trying to tell you, fuck, I'm an overthinker again. Hi, my name is Demetrius Thickman, and I'm an overthinker. I'm trying to get help. So with that being said, overthinking. By definition, it means to think too much. And although that pretty much sounds exactly what it is, there's more to it. The overthinking brain cannot translate these thoughts into actions or positive outcomes, so therefore creates feelings of stress and anxiety. To translate that over, for me, especially, and it's so crazy, I hate to go off topic with this, but it's so crazy because I get evaluated on how I handle stress. And I don't know what the fuck my evaluators be seeing. Like, I don't know I wish I could have an outer body experience, because I've had full on fucking anxiety attacks in front of people and nobody's noticed. You know what I mean? Like, I've had full on anxiety attacks and nobody has picked up on it. And yet I'm getting evaluated above people saying like, he handles stress well. No, the fuck I don't. Like I must handle stress well to other people. But for me, I'm if I was a bird, If I was a bird, I would have plucked my feathers out by now. You know what I mean? Like you would look at me and be like, this bird is stressed, you know? And it sucks because it's like, if I mess up on one thing, I'm already replaying that. And it doesn't go away. It lingers. You see what I'm saying? I showed up late. Fuck. God damn it, you showed up late. These people don't even fucking know you. Yo, man, you're a shitbag, man. Like, good job, Demetrius. Good job. Good way to set off the pace for today. And then, you sit back and you try to tell yourself, like, oh, today isn't going to be a bad day. Just because you had one bad moment doesn't mean that you're going to continue to have a bad day. Fuck you and that. I just showed up late and now I got to go deal with the consequences. And before I can even go deal with those consequences, I have this drive before I have to get to that location where I'm going to deal with those consequences. And unfortunately, for the next 15 minutes, I'm about to play back this entire scenario. I can't even listen to music because I'm in a rush right now. Damn, why is so much traffic going on? Oh, man, they think that I'm probably fucking off. That's what it feels like to be an overthinker. That you're hanging around a group of people, and although you want to have a conversation with them, but the thing is that before you can even open your mouth, your brain has so many thoughts that as soon as you open your mouth, you can't even control what's about to come out because it's so overpacked. And then when you just add stress and anxiety, it just increases. It just increases. And sometimes it becomes debilitating. And when I say like I'm stuck in like this thinking loop, I'm stuck in a reality of bad scenarios, and it's like watching a car crash go off of a cliff over and over and over and over and over. And I'm struggling trying to get myself out of it, but I haven't asked for help yet. Fuck, I hate being an overthinker. So, what causes it? See, overthinking is very common and may be caused by self-doubt, self-esteem issues, concern about repeating past patterns in relationships or prior experiences, trauma experiences, or anxiety. So things that have probably happened before. You know what I mean? Like, you've messed up on this one situation, and because you messed up, the thought of messing up again, and this is why people fear failure so much. This is the reality of why people fear failure, and this is why it's so hard to get back up, is because you already had a bad day Monday. You already had a bad day Tuesday. You already had a bad day Wednesday. Why the fuck do you think Thursday is going to be any good? And if Thursday's not going to be good, then you already know that Friday isn't going to be good. It's a fucking wash. That's exactly how you feel. That's exactly what it is. Or my favorite, and God, I'm about to get real transparent in this episode. Maybe you struggle with self-esteem. Maybe you struggle with self-doubt. And because you don't believe in yourself, nobody else ain't gonna believe in you. How am I supposed to sell this to you if you don't even believe in me? And you don't believe in me because I don't believe in me. Now we stuck in this loop, but the problem is that that's not even what you think. And I really want to just let the overthinker know, like I'm talking to you as you drive to work, as you contemplate and try to tell yourself that you don't want to be there because you feel like everybody at your job hates you. You feel like you're incompetent at your job. You feel like as if you don't belong at your job. They don't think that about you. You think that about you. You didn't lose the race. You never ran it. The problem with being an overthinker is that either we get stuck at the starting point because we're too focused on whether or not we're even able to run the race, or we get distracted while running the race because we're so overwhelmed with the experiences of our past failures. So with that, I went online and I was going through a couple of articles and came up with a couple of ways of how the fuck do you conquer being an overthinker. Now these aren't the end all be alls, but these are just some ways that I've used to help myself get through it, and they're just some ways that I hope that somebody else can use them and be able to help themselves get through it. This is going to suck. All right, so the first one is notice when you're doing it. For me, when I get to overthinking, like once that little mouse in my head gets to turning and it starts turning too fast to the point where it feels like I had mentioned, it feels like a blanket is on me. You know what I mean? Like if anybody's ever had like a weighted blanket on them, like it just felt like a blanket's on me. And in that blanket, it feels like I can't focus. You know what I mean? Like I cannot focus on anything. And it's like my brain is just it's going so fast. Like I hear you talking, but I can't translate the words. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just background noise. The moment that starts to happen that's the moment when you need to realize like I'm overthinking. It's like developing like a pattern with yourself. You know what I mean? Like you start to realize like, okay, I'm going left, I'm going right, I'm going left, I'm going right. Boom, I just found the sweet spot. And in that moment right there, you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel, I'm getting a little stressed. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm getting a little anxious. Okay, now here it is. The thoughts, they're coming too fast. And recently somebody had caught me in my overthinking loop, and they said, stop talking to yourself. Stop talking to yourself, because what you're doing is that you're starting to feed more thoughts into your brain, and you're already struggling with the ones that you have right now. So in a sense, overthinking is like having a plate that just has too much food on it. So with that being said, notice when you're overpiling your plate. The thoughts that you're having right now, understand when that happens, shut everything out. And it goes into my next one. Challenge it. A lot of times, the thing that happens the most with us, especially overthinkers, is that these thoughts, these aren't realities. They probably happened, but most of the thoughts in your head have not even, these don't have physical form. These aren't even on the timeline. They're just possibilities, hypotheses within your brain. So when I say challenge them, most of the things that you're saying do not even have solid evidence. They're just things that you've created. You think everybody's judging you, but have they said that? Or do you feel like that? Let me rephrase that. You think everybody's judging you because you're constantly judging you. So you assume that because you're judging you, everybody else is judging you. You think they don't like you. But the reality is that you think that because of what? Because you are having a hard time liking you sometimes. Or because somebody that didn't like you because of their own insecurities, you feel like that history is repeating themselves again. Maybe you came out of a bad relationship and now you think that the new relationship that you're going into is about to repeat itself. Ain't nothing wrong with a little self-awareness and making sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes, but also challenge your thoughts and understand that you're dealing with a new person. Challenge yourself. X, if we're going to challenge with purpose. And when I mean challenge with purpose, let's focus on problem solving instead of focusing on the problem itself. And this, it seems like this is all like easy things, but when you're an overthinker, this what it feels like, honestly, is like these are like key things for you, because you're like, oh yeah, man, like of course. But when you're in it, and I'll be the first one to just say that, when you're in it and you're in that time loop of overthinking, this shit seems like it's hard. So this is going to take practice. I can assure you. These are going to be things that you're going to have to practice. So going back to the problem solving, when you find yourself in a situation where you're about to start overthinking, and say, for example, somebody says something to you, but you took it the wrong way. I'm going to just be the first one to say this. You have a tendency to over exaggerate. I know you didn't want to hear that. But you have a tendency to over exaggerate. Your middle name should be over dramatic. Okay? If they said something to you, they don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? They don't mean it like that. They're just saying it. There's no additional emotions to it. So focus on that. Maybe you're stuck with a situation that like, damn, man, like I can't accomplish this. I feel like everything is just closing in on me. Nothing's closing in. What you're trying to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're overwhelmed. We're not going to be able to do 2, 3, 4, or 5 right now. Let's focus on doing 1. Maybe you're dealing with a natural disaster. You're dealing with something that's just out of your hands and you have no way of solving that particular problem. But what you do have action in doing is dealing with the situation. How can I cope from this? How can I survive this? How can I mitigate this? How can I minimize the damage? That's what it seems like. Before you allow your thoughts to run wild and you lose control, grab hold of them. I had another one that I was looking at, and I actually like this one. Is change the channel. A lot of times for us, it feels like there's so much going on to the point where it stops us. When that happens, and we all may not have that chance to be able to do it, you know what I mean? So you need to change the channel. And when I say change the channel, and what I mean when I say like we all may not have the chance to be able to like, walk away and go exercise real quick, or we all have an opportunity to be able to walk out and take a deep breath. Say, for example, once again, you're overwhelmed with something. Take a step back, go outside, and take a deep breath. When you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out, that breath of fresh air feels amazing for some reason. Or maybe you're laying in bed and you're just constantly overwhelmed with some stuff. Go downstairs, make you a cup of coffee real quick. Go read a book real quick. Ain't nothing wrong with you going online, but don't go online and start Googling your symptoms. Don't go online and start looking up the topics of what you were already thinking about to stress yourself out. Get away from the situation. Change the channel. Think about something else. Think about something that actually brings you joy. If you're messing up on one thing, don't dwell on it. Because I'm going to just tell you this right now. Time is moving. You feel me? And the problem with an overthinker is that they're paused. They're paused. Although time is still moving and things are still happening around them, they're dwelling on the thing that's happening right now, the thing that just happened, and they cannot move forward. So with that, say, for example, you messed up on 1. You still have 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's time to go ahead and go to 2. I've had to tell myself that on so many occasions. Hey, man, you fucked up on 1. Boom, let's go ahead and go to 2. And while we're on 2, we'll double back and fix whatever the fuck we messed up on 1. Fuck, we messed up on 2. Okay, we're going to have to fix 2 when we get to 4. That's how you have to be able to move forward with this. You cannot dwell. You cannot dwell. And when you get a chance, always take time out to just schedule time for reflection. And I always say that there's so much power in isolation, but you got to be careful with isolation because isolation is very addictive. But in your isolation, take 20 minutes out, right? Take 20 minutes out and just sit back and just reflect. Not dwell, reflect. And when I say reflect, take in everything that's happened today. I usually do it over a cup of Crown Royal with Coke ice. And I sit back in my kitchen and I say, damn, man, what the fuck happened today? And as I reflect, once that time is up, that's it. That's it. We can't go back. The moment that you reflect in that time slot, you cannot go back and say, all right, I need to go back and think. No. We're done. We're done. We have to move forward. Because in your reflection, you're reviewing, you're refocusing, and you're re-entering the situation. And lastly, practice mindfulness. And for those who don't know what mindfulness is, mindfulness refers to the cognitive state of awareness of the present. And I know everybody's always thinking we're in the present. Not if you're an overthinker. No. If you're an overthinker, you are not in the present. Your present was 2 moments ago. Your present was probably 2 weeks ago. Your present is the shit that happened this morning and we're in the afternoon. So an overthinker does not live in the present. And it took me a moment to realize that I'm in the present right now. As I'm recording this, I can look at the time. Physically, yes. Mentally, no. When you're an overthinker, if you messed up on something at 8 o'clock in the morning, that shit's going to be with you for the rest of the day. Practice mindfulness. Live in the present. And as you have noticed throughout the episode, it echoes to continue to keep moving forward, to continue to focus. Stay focused on what's about to happen. Let me rephrase that now. Stay focused on what you can control right now. You can't control what happened 2 hours ago, but you can make the best of what's about to happen in the next 30 minutes. You can't control what happened yesterday, but you can make the best of what's about to happen today. Just because you messed up, and I had a real nasty habit of doing this, because I messed up, I want to shut down my whole day. Your day doesn't get canceled because you fucked up. I started to think this is probably why I wasn't good at sports. First off, I didn't mean to laugh, and you better not have laughed. Okay? That shit ain't funny. The reason why I'm probably not good at sports is because I'm an overthinker. If I miss a shot, I can't even focus on the rest of the game because I have that shot that I missed. When they would try to throw me the football, if I drop that one pass, I can't even think about anything else because I dropped one pass. And that's so counterproductive because of the simple fact that that shit's already happened. These episodes are getting real fucking personal, Demetrius. They're getting real personal. But anyways, look, if you're an overthinker just like me, go ahead, head over to the Instagram, and we'd definitely love to talk about it. I'm gonna put up a blog. I'm gonna put up a questionnaire and just give me ways of how you handle being an overthinker. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Stay tuned Mondays and Fridays. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Meech Speaks. Once again, that's Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled Meech. Don't forget to share this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, follow this podcast, pass this podcast to somebody, because this podcast was dedicated to helping everyone become a better version of themselves. Even though I don't know what that type of version is, I just know that you can be better. Lastly, don't forget to grab your copy of The Extraordinary Thought from the Ordinary Mind, available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. I think there's an electrical copy. You know what it is. Stay hungry, stay motivated. I'm out.